Y'all, so we just reached the point of singularity, according to Elon Musk, which means that quantum computing has now exceeded any human intelligence and can literally break the hashtag algorithm that secures cryptocurrencies.
Because if Elon is even partially right about this stuff, it affects literally everything: your job, your investments, your kid's future, all of it.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Urban FinTech at the G Spot Studios channel, where we try to make finance and technology sexy. I'm your girl, G. And so today I want to talk a little bit about what this all means, right? So I was reading this article that I came across. It is actually from tomshardware.com, so not a very recognized source, but nonetheless very interesting. All right, so it says fear that quantum computing is on the cusp of cracking cryptocurrencies encryption spurs a global investment firm to remove Bitcoin from recommendations. Essentially, this is a firm that was interested in acquiring some Bitcoin, but since hearing that quantum computing has now accelerated, they have decided to not invest in Bitcoin. And we'll see what they're looking at investing in as we read along. So the firm's senior financial strategist is concerned the advancements in the field of quantum computing will break Bitcoin. And as you all know, we talked about this a little bit. A couple years ago, I did a Simpsons Frinkcoin video. That is season 31, episode 13, which was aired on February 23rd, 2020. So right before the pandemic officially became a pandemic, a global pandemic, right? So it says here, senior financial strategist Christopher Wood said in the latest issue of the Greed and Fear newsletter that he's removing the 10% Bitcoin allocation from his recommended portfolio. He justified this move by saying that advancements in quantum computing pose a threat to the cryptocurrency's cryptographic protections, thus undermining its argument of durability through network security. So according to Bloomberg, Wood recommends replacing Bitcoin with an investment with a 5% allocation to physical gold and another 5% set for gold mining stocks, right? So they're looking at gold, looking at metals, which isn't a bad thing. Gold absolutely is a store of value, particularly when the dollar is weakened. And so we are seeing that with metals across the board. Silver has gone up, I mean, just drastically. And so we do love to see that. So Wood, who is the global head of equity strategy at the global investment banking firm Jefferies, first included Bitcoin in his sample portfolio in December 2020. He then grew it to 10% in 2021, citing the fear of inflation because of the stimulus checks the government released during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, advancements in quantum computing have long-term investors concerned about implications, especially for cryptocurrencies. So as we read along, we'll see that again, the SHA-256 hashtag algorithm is what secures cryptocurrencies. And when we tried to decipher that Frinkcoin Simpsons math problem a couple of years ago, that was one of the things that the math problem was trying to determine if this indeed hashtag algorithm is safe. So I find it peculiar that we're talking about this right now, 6 years later, because there must be something to this. You know what I'm saying? The Simpsons pretty much don't get it wrong. All right. So, again, if you are into that kind of thing. All right, so it says Bitcoin currently uses the SHA-256 hashtag algorithm, which is technically impossible to crack with current computing technology. With current technology. But if we have a quantum computer that compounds its knowledge and just only gets better and better, baby, we're talking about something different. All right, so however, there have been reports as far back as 2022 that quantum computers could crack Bitcoin by the 2030s. But Elon is saying, nope, we did that this year, 2026. All right, and we'll watch a video a little bit more in depth about what that means and what he's talking about. So an event like this will cause chaos in the system, resulting in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies losing its value overnight, especially if the break comes as a surprise. Because of this, Wood recommended moving away from it, especially for long-term investors. Now, despite the many cryptocurrency developers aren't really concerned about this, as Wood and other financial experts are. So, for one, current quantum computing capabilities are nowhere near powerful or stable enough to defeat current cryptography algorithms. So, they remain safe for now and for the time being. But besides that, progress in the field of quantum computing is slow and public, meaning developers would have ample warning that they need to upgrade their algorithms, right? So, however this works, there is some level of being able to identify that there is a risk that is pending, and so they'll be able to kind of adjust. And so I could see that happening, and where there is this whole talk about, oh, 90% of the cryptos won't exist. It'll be those like top 10% that stay in the market. And so what does that look like to me? Maybe 50 blockchain technologies, cryptocurrencies that exist, that have use case, that have utility, and that are doing things to change the infrastructure and create seamless ways to interface with the world, right? And so we will see like those fart coins and some of those meme coins and these different coins. It's just like, what, why are we doing this to ourselves? Those will cease to exist. So another big reason that cryptocurrencies aren't particularly concerned about quantum computing right now is that if quantum computers can break Bitcoin security, then they can break cryptography algorithms all across the world. So if their security protocols were to be broken, then the security of everything else, including traditional banking systems, secured internet protocols, government encryption, and more, will also be affected. So besides, security developers aren't are already looking into post-quantum cryptography, with cryptocurrency developers able to take advantage of their developments as well. Now, despite this, Wood says that the debate between cryptocurrency developers and quantum computing will only be a long-term positive for gold. Again, so this article and a lot of other articles, y'all, they like to shield, they like to influence what it is that they're trying to get across. And so this one clearly is advocating for gold and probably precious metals, but in this case, particularly gold. So it has historically held its value in regards to gold, reaching an 11% annual return over the past 50 years. So investors looking for a stable long-term asset to park their funds will probably find the precious metal an attractive option. All right, so again, just kind of influencing the gold market and really putting it out there for us to look at gold. And so I want to take a look at this video. And I think it's important because it really talks about Elon Musk having this tweet the other day about us reaching singularity. Singularity really meaning that we've gotten to a place where we are looking at quantum computing, compounding learning, accelerating this learning to the point where it can just figure out anything essentially, including how to break this algorithm of cryptocurrency. So let's take a look at this video and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about what that means.
Okay, everybody, so Elon Musk just said something pretty wild on X, like usual, a few days ago. He said, and I quote, "We have entered the singularity." And then a few hours later, he doubled down with 2026 as the year of the singularity. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking right now. You're thinking, okay, here we go. Elon saying a lot of stuff again. How many times has he said crazy stuff? Robotaxi by 2020, FSD will be done like years ago. And I really get that skepticism. I really, really do. Totally get it. But the thing that I want to talk about is not whether Elon is right or wrong about the timing. What is a singularity? How will we even know if we're in it? And why is Elon saying this right now at this specific moment in time? I think when most people hear the word singularity, they think of something sci-fi or a sci-fi movie where robots take over humanity and we have Terminator and we're all dead. Or it might be just tech bro hype that doesn't mean anything. But neither of those two things are really accurate. The singularity is actually a pretty specific concept, and I think it's worth understanding because if Elon is even partially right about this stuff, it affects literally everything. Your job, your investments, your kid's future, all of it. My kid's future. Okay, so let's break it down. First, what is the singularity? The term was popularized by Ray Kurzweil back in 2005. He wrote this book called The Singularity is Near. And Kurzweil's definition is pretty specific. defined it as a future period during which the pace of technological change will be so rapid, its impact so deep that human life will be irreversibly transformed. Now that sounds kind of vague, but Kurzweil got more specific. He said that the singularity is the point where the machine intelligence and the human intelligence would merge, where AI becomes so capable that it can improve itself and then improve itself again, and the rate of improvement keeps accelerating until you have this explosion of intelligence that fundamentally changes what it means to be a human. And the key part is that Kurzweil predicted this would happen by 2045. Jeez, 2045. It's 20 years from now. He said we'd have human level AI by 29 and then the full singularity by 45. So why is Elon saying we're already here? Is he just being hyperbolic? Probably. But I actually think there's something more interesting going on and we should talk about it. And by the way, this isn't just Kurzweil's definition. The original concept actually comes from this mathematician and science fiction writer named Vernon Finch. Back in 1993, 30 years ago, he wrote this paper called The Coming Technological Singularity, where he talked about how superhuman intelligence would be created and shortly after that, the human era would end. It's pretty dramatic. His idea was that this would be like an event horizon, like in a black hole where you literally cannot see past it because changes would be so profound that we can't even imagine what comes next. We literally cannot fathom it. And IBM has defined the singularity as the point where AI can match or surpass human abilities across any task. Not just math, not just coding, everything, every domain, every challenge you can throw at it. That's a really high bar, and that's why some people think we're nowhere close. But here's the thing, all these definitions have something in common. They're all around the rate of change, not just the level of capability. The singularity isn't just when AI gets really good, it's when AI gets good enough to make itself better, and then that better AI makes itself even better, and the improvements start compounding so fast that everything changes. The compounding is the key part. So the thing that makes this so interesting is Elon's companies right now, the man who claims we're in the singularity already, is that they're all converging on this moment. So if you start with xAI, which is Elon's AI company, the company that owns X, which just raised $20 billion. These investors include NVIDIA, Cisco, Fidelity, the Qatar Investment Authority, Abu Dhabi's MGX. These are the biggest institutional investors in the world.
So let's take a look at Elon Musk's XAI for a moment, right? I wanted to really look at what this is. So when you go immediately on the XAI website, they have the Grok technology. It's the Grok or Grok. So you immediately can type something in there. What does XAI do? All right. And so we'll see what it does, right? All right, so it takes us to their AI page, their landing page, and it has a little bit of description here. So it has some information for us. It says it is an artificial intelligence company founded by Elon Musk in 2023, so 3 years ago. Its official mission is to advance our collective understanding of the universe, honey. So they got big, big, big dreams by building artificial intelligence that accelerates human scientific discovery. The company focuses on developing advanced AI systems to help tackle fundamental questions about reality, physics, and the nature of existence while pushing the boundaries of what large-scale AI can achieve. Pushing the boundaries of what large-scale AI can achieve. So, I mean, they're going all out, right? Balls out. All right, key things AI does as of early 2026. It builds and deploys frontier AI models, most famously the Grok family of large language models. That's me. Okay, so the AI is talking to us. Grok is a multimodal AI, text, images, reasoning, real-time information, etc., designed to be maximally helpful and truth-seeking with a bit of humor and willingness to tackle controversial questions that other AIs often avoid. All right, so I don't know about y'all, but I might be coming to Grok more often because I don't like the censorship around some of the things that we're seeing exist with these new emerging technologies. All right, so it operates Colossus, one of the largest AI supercomputer clusters, aiming for 1 million GPUs to train increasingly powerful models at very high speed. Again, so that compounding of computing just becoming better, better, better to perfection, right? It provides an API for developers and enterprises to integrate Grok capabilities into applications. So a lot of the work that XAI is doing is around enterprises. So they're working with the institutions, they're working with the large businesses. It offers multiple channels, grok.com, mobile apps, integration with the X platform. So it's already existing within the X, which is formerly known as Twitter, and even voice in Tesla vehicles. So again, a big deal. And I love the way Elon emerges all of his texts across. So there's some intermingling, correlation, there's some parallelism to all of his tech. You know, they're not just sort of siloed, which again, I can see happening more and more with the emerging of technology. He has expanded into government, or not has, he has, but um, XAI has expanded into government enterprise, offering XAI for government. So again, in cahoots with the big folks, baby, and continues aggressive fundraising, having raised massive rounds, 10 to billions total, to fuel compute and talent. So we know that they've recently just acquired 20 billion in funds that they've raised. Let's see here. Also acquired X Corp in 2025, the company behind X social platform, in an all stock deal. So the two are now combined under X.AI Holdings Corp. From what I understand, this is a private. XAI is private, so they're not public yet, but there are ways still to invest in private companies. The ties XAI works closely with real-time data and distribution on the X platform. So in short, XAI's big picture goal is using extremely powerful AI to help humanity figure out the deepest questions about the universe. And right now, that primarily means rapidly advancing Grok and the infrastructure behind it. So we're talking about rapid advancement, which I think is quite interesting. Now, just going back to the website itself, um, they have some things here around APIs, the company itself. Let's see what it says. Colossus, which is one of their products they talked about, and then careers. So it says here under the business part, their mission, understand the universe. AI's knowledge should be encompassing and as far reaching as possible. We build AI specifically to advance human comprehension and capabilities. At our core, we are a focused and mighty team connected by our curiosity, commitment, and unwavering drive. I love the simplicity of this website. I just think it's really easy. And so, you know, less is better for me at least. Reasoning from first principles, we challenge conventional thinking by breaking down problems to their fundamental truths, grounded in logic. So very logical, truthful, and not really doing the fake news, the propaganda, whatever it is to kind of make themselves feel better or look or appear better. It's just really raw realness. Again, from what it's saying, hopefully that is the case. No goal is too ambitious. We embrace the most challenging obstacles by always pushing the limits of what's possible. Pushing the limits, right? We are motivated by what's unprecedented. All right. So they're doing things out of the box automatically. Like anything that they're touching, anything they're thinking about is just to the extreme. Move quickly and fix things. Our approach to rapid development and integration allows us to innovate at breakneck speeds. Breakneck, honey. We're not interested in speed for speed's sake. We're here to solve real problems, right? So they don't want to just be fast for the sake of being fast, which you'll see with a lot of the emerging cryptocurrencies. Oh, we can do this transaction in these many seconds, TPS, right? The transactions per second. They're saying, we want to be fast, but it has to make sense, not just fast to be fast, right? They want to actually solve problems. They have tons of collaborations. You saw that in the video we just watched. They're hiring all across the world. In Palo Alto, their headquarters. They're also in Seattle, San Francisco, Tennessee, London. And so really growing as a new emerging technology company. And so one of the things I do know is that they do prefer that you are in office. They do some hybrid, but they do prefer, you know, employees be on site. Elon has a preference for that, which is interesting too. I think in some regards, there will be a time where that may not be necessary. And that might be, again, in the future with the multiverse and all that good stuff. But, that's another whole video. So we're moving toward a future where we will harness our cluster's full power to solve intractable problems. What's one seemingly impossible question you'd answer for humanity? So I imagine that even with asking the AI Grok some of the questions that we have, they may take that and build upon it because it is storing all that data, right? For you to get, real truthful questions, but also it allows them to kind of understand you know, these are the things that are important to the people, and how can we make this better or work at it for the people. And again, that's just my assumption. I could be totally wrong. I don't work for Elon Musk. I do appreciate some of the things he's doing, but I do not work for him. So that is XAI. So I'm not sure what this could be. I have two different ideas on what this could potentially look like. One would be that in the future, um, again, this algorithm crash could potentially wipe out most of the cryptocurrencies that really probably shouldn't exist anyway, but then really uplift those ones that really are providing utility and have some uses to really create a better, safer, efficient world, right? And so again, that could be 10 cryptocurrencies, that could be 50. But however many exist now, I can't even count anymore. That they would essentially be wiped out. So that's one way this could work. The other way would be how I see this happening is that everything's wiped out, right, including Bitcoin. But it is a way to usher in, again, this UBI, Universal Basic Income System, that I think we're headed toward regardless, right? So by 2040s, we'll be there whether we want to or not. But it is a way to um, get people into this lane of like a universal basic financial structure that exists around the world. And so a way for that to happen is through some kind of catastrophe around the financial industry. And I can see this being one of those ways in which it happens. And maybe cryptocurrency, Bitcoin was invented just for those purposes, or maybe not, but it is one of those things that I do think about when it comes down to it. So tell me what you think about this. Is it sexy news? Is it, something to speculate on? I do think those speculative assets will certainly not make it through this. And so if you are just kind of playing around and kind of seeing where things can go, I think now is the time to really get serious. Maybe reposition yourself and figure out what you think has longevity and what will be something that will be used in the future. And so let me know what you think in the comments. I am twerking on the fence on this one, honey. I'm using the words of one of my favorite influencers on YouTube, Kimpire, but I'm twerking on the fence, right? So I'm not sure if this is sexy news or if this is something that is, a little bit suspect and we need to be, going down that rabbit hole and kind of seeing where we're going. Let me know what you think in the comments below. See you next time.